My name is Jackie Johnson. I live in Waterfall, Durban, and I sell real estate for a living. I have a teenage daughter, 16, and a single mom. So this watershed moment that I remember is so first of all, I had been in a partnership with somebody, and he had convinced me that he would pay me on the next deal, on the next deal, on the next deal. And that went on for about a year, and that was just leading up to the 2008 crash. So what ended up happening is that I allowed myself to be, I'm telling you this part because this is where I was thinking about money, you know. So after almost a year, then he couldn't pay me anything at all. So I just paid myself what he should have paid me off of my credit card. And I just couldn't tell anybody, or my family or friends. I found it very hard to admit to them what a mess I was in. And then 2008 happened, and it was like the lights went out in property. There were just no buyers overnight, and he consequently went insolvent, and that left me in a place where I had to face what had happened. I was in a place where I had to face getting a bit emotional. It was really hard to admit to people. It's like so full of shame. Money trouble is so full of shame. And to actually say to people, I don't have any money for petrol, I don't have any money for food, and I've got this little girl that I have to look after. And the church would give us food for a long time after that. We'd go and collect a box every week. And amazing things happened. Like I won things, and then before I could go collect them, people wanted to buy them, and we lived off of that money. But it was always a case with real estate. It's variable income flows, no set salary, just commission. And so it was very hard for me, and I didn't know how to manage that. And that was one of the main things that I got out of, so much that I got out of FFU, but learning how to manage a variable income flow, it was absolutely critical to bringing stability into my finances. So it's been a journey. Basically, I just went round and around in a circle. I remember saying to people just before I came across Anne and the Welsh chef, I remember saying to people, I just don't understand. Like, I've come from a place where there were hardly any sales because the market was so constricted. And then I got to a point where I was doing really well. I in fact won the award for being the top agent in my region, and there was no money to show for it. And it was so awful. I just couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how I could be doing so well professionally, and everyone's like, whoa, you're doing amazing. And I still had no money. I felt so frustrated. I was living on a knife edge. You know, in real estate, it's a very long sales cycle. It can be 6 months from the time you start working on a property to actually getting real money in your bank account. And so for a very long time, I would earn the money, and it would just vary the level of debt that I had. So I was living off of overdrafts and credit cards and using this one to pay that one and that whole story. And so when the commission would come in, it would just get me closer to zero. And then the very next thing I did, put petrol in my car or buy food, and I would start going back into debts. And I think psychologically that was just destroyed me, really. I would wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning just with this pressure. I felt like I was never going to get out from this weight of the debt that I was in. And it was hundreds of thousands of rands. Thank God. I was sitting in my kitchen the one day, and there was this cute little thing about a love story. It was in the month of February, and it was called The Money Love Story. And I had a look at that, and it was like, really, like, it for me was a moment where I knew finally somebody was going to show me the way out of this mess that I was in. And that was the start of the most beautiful journey. I signed up for Anne's Just Freaking Destroy It, which is her How to Get Out of Debt course. And I started to see some traction, I started to see things starting to turn. And a debt snowball helped me to have hope that I actually was going to get out of this. There was a way to do this. And some awesome tips, like literally did take the credit cards, cut them up, took photos of that, kept one, put it in the freezer, in the tin, in the freezer. It's like, if you've got a problem with food or alcohol, for me it was money, I didn't know how to work with it. And so it really helped to have that physically. I couldn't just use it. So before I came across the Well Chef, when I thought about my future, I felt really despondent. Like I thought, I'm never going to be able to earn enough to actually get out of this. Like I'm always going to be going around and around, just like treading water, never actually getting anywhere. I never would have thought that I would have been able to get out of debt, or even get to a point where I could buy a house or pay off my car. I never even thought about doing those things. I just thought, how am I ever going to be able to earn enough, And so my thinking at the time, before I met Anne, was really focused on, if I could just get one more deal, if I could just get one more sale, then that will be the answer, It was a lot of pressure to live under. I was just so thirsty for the knowledge. I really was. I just knew that if I kept doing what I was currently doing, it was going to be the same, more of the same. And I really just was so sick and tired of being stuck, working really hard. My job, it's 7 days a week. And because I didn't know how to manage the variable income, it was always about, get as many sales as you can, never miss a phone call, never miss an appointment. You don't have the luxury of that because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. There may not be another sale for months. So, and it just got me really, I was just churning. And so I was starting to feel, with all the emotional baggage of the debt and the weight of that, and the fear, so much fear around the future. And I just knew I couldn't go on like that. I was feeling burnt out at my job. And it had started out being something I really enjoyed, and it just turned into something that I actually, I was at that point where I was like, something has got to give. That little bit of information that she shared was actually, it was so amazing to me. It was like water in a desert, it was this amazing thing, and I actually couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't wait for the next video to be released, so it really, it didn't take much for me. I was just so ready to receive the information and to find a way out. We need to learn how to deal with money, and that's where the freedom comes. And there's also coaching, although it wasn't officially coaching, but Anne would do a one-on-one answering a question, whether it was mine or somebody else's, and I got to be a part of that, listening to that person getting their breakthrough. And again, we all had similar issues, so what somebody else was learning, I could also learn from. The action of actually facing the number, working it out, so going to actually look at the balances on all those overdrafts and credit cards and putting them into that spreadsheet. Although it was a hard thing to do initially, once I'd done it, it was simple and easy for me to see how long it was going to take me to get out of the debt, and how to work out which one I should pay off first and how the snowball would go. So the action of actually putting the numbers on the spreadsheets, and that action helped me emotionally to face the giant that I was facing. And then of course, the minute you actually face it, it's not so big anymore. I was just so surrendered to the process. Like, I bought into the idea that this stuff and the way Anne was teaching it was going to be my way out. To feel that the debt was almost completely gone. There was a little bit of it, but it was manageable. It wasn't something that woke me up in the early hours of the morning in fear. So it was like moving into a space where there's so much more freedom. There's so much less fear. There's so much actually hopefulness for the future, because I know the number, I know the target number I'm going for. I understand that it's not only about striving and churning and working harder just so I can get one more sale. It's actually going to be okay. Just an average old me, I'm going to get there. There is enough time. It's not too late. It's not too late. I'm going to be able to do this. And so I've seen how just among my friends and family have been encouraged by what they have seen happen with me, which is amazing as well. It's very cool. We've had lots of coffee dates, and Anne's book has done the rounds. Without a doubt, the money that I've invested in Anne's courses and the Wealth Chef, I feel it has been the best investment I could have ever made, because not only have I gotten out of debt, and not only am I feeling happier and empowered and hopeful, there are things that I never even thought about. How to determine whether an investment is a good investment. Just little things like looking at your insurances and where you can save, and what products you should be buying and shouldn't be buying. I mean, all of that, it's hard to put a number on that, but that is stuff that now that I know how to assess things, I mean, from here on going forward, that investment I made in the education is paying off over and over and over again. I would say to you, if you're thinking of joining FFU and you're not sure whether you should do it, I would say to you, I remember how scared I was to take that step. But I promise you, there's not one doubt in my mind that you won't regret this, that this is not a quick fix, it's not a fly-by-night thing. This is so solid, grounding education that's going to stand you in good stead for the rest of your life. And I would encourage you to take that leap of faith. Before I had control of my money stuff, there was this, so money is this amazing, beautiful, muscular stallion. It's a black one. And you can just see all those muscles rippling. And there I was, with my foot stuck in the stirrup, being bounced around behind it. And now having learned how to manage my money, I feel like I am riding that amazing, powerful, beautiful thing. And I'm directing it where I want it to go in my life. And it's a really great feeling. I feel unafraid. I feel free. I feel that this is going to be a possibility for me. It's not too late. I feel so empowered, so empowered. You know, I understand how money works, and actually, instead of being afraid of it now, I feel like money is this amazing tool that I get to control, and I get to use it to make my world a better place. I just enjoy my life so much more. Like I'm driving around doing something really odd, and I just think, I just love my life. I'm not there yet. I'm not financially free yet, but I know I'm going to get there, and I'm on my way, and I'm enjoying the journey actually, and it's just the most wonderful, wonderful thing. It's a great space to be in.